Hey guys, welcome back to another one. Today we're going to be talking about antler display kits, how to actually put the antlers onto them. This one is the antler display kit from Walnut Hollow Country. It's pretty affordable and also it is made in America, which is pretty cool. There are a few different options for antler display kits when you look them up online. Some of them look like this one over here, which has the antlers cut off and then you actually put them onto a fake base and then you screw that into there and that is your display. And then there's other ones like the one from Walnut Hollow Country, which has a little cap which goes over the antler skull part. That way it kind of shrouds that and keeps that out of the way. This one as well, it has all of the directions on the back side of it. First up, what you need are some antlers, right? These ones came out of a garage. They're a few years old. They have a bit of hide remaining on them, so it's gonna be a little difficult to get that off. How we're gonna go to doing that is going to be using some water, just soaking it a little bit and then taking some pliers to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and soak this one, get it ready, peel that off, and then keep going from there for the process. Besides that, guys, we do have merch available, so it's right below the video. Every shirt that we sell or every merch apparel that we sell goes directly back into making more content for you guys to enjoy. So this one in particular, I really like this blue. Has our little logo on the front, and then it has our full logo on the back side. I like to think that it's pretty affordable. We don't make a lot off of it. But let's continue on. We got the hide taken off of the deer. It's ready to be placed onto the mounting kit. We'll get this open. This is the top section that will end up covering the bone section of the skull. Comes with a few parts as well. And then the main piece. On the back side, it does have the instructions listed. The very first step, what it wants us to do is cut the skull down a little bit because it is a little too large. So the antler burr should be about 3/8 of an inch from the panel. So you just gotta take a tape measure and mark it accordingly. Doesn't have to be exact because this has a little bit of leeway underneath the cap, but it has to be close enough so it can fit underneath this. Marked it off with a little bit of Sharpie. We're going to be cutting back this top section and then also the front section as well. Now for the next step, we're going to be placing 2 holes into the skull cap, one on this side of the mount and then one on this side as well. These drill holes do not have to be exact because they're going to be hidden behind this cap, so don't feel too pressured on where exactly you place them as long as it's not too close to the antler. And then I like to stay away from the big point as that can sometimes crack it. Now that we have the holes in place on the skull cap, we're going to be pre-drilling some holes into this as well for the screws to run into. This we just need to measure up 8 inches to make sure it's not too low on the plaque. Place a dot and then we'll place this over the dot and then pre-drill those holes. And to make sure that it's nice and center, place your tape measure at the point at the bottom and then measure up to place your dots so you know where mid is. And now with your skull cap, we're going to place this here, roughly in the middle position, and that's where that middle hump comes into play. You can place it right on top of there. That way you can drill your preset holes. And now with the assembly screws, we will be placing it through the skull cap onto this. I drilled the one hole so far. Once I have that set and measured correctly, I will preset this one and then drill that. Now I'm just going to take a peek, make sure that it's nice and even. Now that I have it evened out where I want it in place, it looks a little crooked just because this antler side goes forward a little bit, but not to worry. Once we put the cap on and everything, it won't be too bad. We will go ahead and get this hole pre-drilled and then place in the screw to hold it in place. Next up, now that we have the skull cap in place, we're going to measure up 5 inches on the display mount. And that's going to be this dot right here, which is going to be kind of pronounced as well. So even if you don't see it, don't mark it with like a Sharpie or anything, because this is what it's going to look like at the end. So you don't want a big Sharpie mark on there. With that being middle, that's going to be the middle of your skull cap right here. And what you need is to make these 2 circular cuts within this. So you need to go from this dot, which will be right here, and measure over so you know how big you need your circles to be and also where. So roughly 1 inch, or what do you need? For this particular scenario, mine are at 2 inches on both sides for the middle of the antlers themselves. But in order to start the circle, we need to start at 1 1/4 for your left-hand side. And then for mine, over here, we need to put it at 1 1/2 for starting the circle. On here, that is where we will take a Sharpie now. So we know. So this one's going to start over at 1 1/4. So we'll just draw a little line right there so we know. And then over here, it was 1 1/2. With this, it's not going to be a big worry. We're now going to just punch a hole through it. So I'm just going to take a drill and just place a hole. Which will let us know on the back side where exactly we need to start. And now we're going to be drawing the circles, which you can measure the diameter of your antlers using a tape measure once again, which is just the bottom section right here, as that's where this cap should be covering. And it looks like these are roughly 1 1/4 on that side, then right around 1 inch on this side. With that in mind, and with these holes being the inside part of that circle, we're going to be drawing the circle on the outer section of both of those holes. Now always start smaller than what you need. So for both of these, I know that we need 1 inch at least. And we're going to take just my Sharpie cap because the tape measure doesn't like to fit within here. And I know this part of the Sharpie is 1 inch as I just measured. So we're going to put that in there so we know how far across this circle needs to be. From the circle going outwards, we're going to be placing a 1 inch line so we know. And then that will be the same on this side as well. Even though this antler was a little bit bigger at the base, we'll deal with that once we start fitting, and then we'll cut away extra, as that's way easier than trying to add back any. And there we have the lines of it. And now we're going to be drawing a circle, just a very rough circle. And now with those in place, the following step may seem a little scary because you don't want to mess this part up. But worst case scenario, you can put something over this cap if you screw it up. You'll be all right. We're going to be cutting inwards so we can get to the circle. We'll then cut the circle, place it onto the mount, and see how it does. Now we are pre-fitting it. We got the circles cut out using scissors and a knife. A little bit easier that way. This right hand side shows that it is pretty good. And then on this side, it's a little tight, so we need to trim some off of the edges on this in order to make it fit a little bit better. Now that we have the cuts in place, we will now be putting the decorative rope around the base of the antlers. That way it kind of sucks in the cap a little bit, and also it covers up the cut holes that we did as well. For this, we just need to take the decorative rope, place it around here, and see how much we need in order to do the full loop. Take that and then cut it, and then we'll place it down with some hot glue or just normal glue. With those in place, all that is left is to place the hanger on the back side, put it up on the wall, and you're ready to go. Unfortunately, I just do not have any glue at this time. I have to run out and grab some in order to complete this, but this is exactly how it's gonna look. I'm just gonna glue on the back side so you can't see it and have them all in place. And then the decorative nail goes right in the middle to keep the cap in place as well. Of course, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below and we'll be sure to give you an answer to them. Not that you have to use this in particular antler mount kit. This one's just nice and cheap and readily available, and I find that it's pretty nice as well. I like the design of it. Also, if you're interested in any trapping or hunting content, be sure to check out our other videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.